All right, we're recording. Welcome back. Welcome to the Chris and Veronica Show. My name is Chris. This is...
Hey, it's Veronica.
Find us at chrisandveronica.com. We're that podcast where we just literally talk about anything unscripted. I'm a little winded. I've been doing some work in our break time as we were cooling down some of the cameras.
It means the battery to the cameras.
Yes, the batteries. Yes. Changing out the batteries.
Yes.
I
still don't understand your concept of when you do a pre-wash to a wash, you're letting it sit. You might as if you're putting all that effort in, might as well just clean it.
I know, but then you can actually clean it multiple times. So here's my thing. Okay, so for bathroom cleaning, bear with me. We're going to explain what this is.
Yes.
So when you go in to clean a bathroom, right, you do one of two things. You either hire it out and have somebody do it, or you do it yourself. We'll start there.
Do that?
Yeah, so
Okay.
we'll start there. That's typically what you do. And we have not had a housekeeper for probably like 6 months, right? Because I'm like, I don't mind doing it, right? Because we're recording on a Saturday, might as well go in there, clean up, it's a whole thing. And so I went in and I put some of the stuff out, to be able to let it sit.
Sit. Keyword.
Yes.
Let it sit. But
so when I put it on there, to let it sit a little bit, I also scrub it in a little bit, scrub it down and do the first scrub down just a little bit, just to scrub it down just a little bit on the first one. And then you're letting it sit. It's a whole thing.
And then do you actually then add more cleaner? And then you do what?
So this is the thing. So the cleaner's on there, right? But that also includes the first scrub down. That's the first scrub down. And then you let it sit. So with this one, we're setting a timer for roughly 20 minutes, which is us talking on the microphones. And with that 20 minutes, it's going to sit and it's going to ruminate, right? It's going to do a whole thing and it's going to loosen everything up so that my elbow grease isn't as much that I have to expend on this thing.
So make sure I understand.
Yes.
You spray.
Wash it multiple times. Yes, Veronica.
Okay.
Well, because, if you think about if you do a first scrub down on anything, that's gets the first layer off, right? And then the second one, you go in there and you're getting in there a little bit.
But don't you think you're double working? For example,
you are, yeah, for sure.
If you do
in
the
tub.
vinegar and baking soda, it's the activation, right? It does.
Right. And then it sits
or
there
like
for
the
a little
people
bit.
that use the scrubbing bubbles.
Yeah, scrubbing bubbles,
right?
Yeah. That's what we should really get, is scrubbing bubbles, I think, probably for
is,
this.
It says it goes on one color, and then when it turns a different color, that's when you can scrub it off or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, something like that. That's the whole reason why it's not scrubbing twice. But you know what? It doesn't matter.
Well, if you think when you think about cleaning products in general, right, they're meant to make your life easier. So you aren't using all of that scrub, right?
Yes.
Otherwise, it's just elbow grease that gets it all done.
I've been watching these TikTok videos of people that before and after, and they clean. Like there's this one YouTuber that goes in and helps, just overwhelmed or depressed moms with houses. And they have this little tool, and it's almost like it looks like a drill, but it's not, because that's different.
Oh, yeah. I have one of those. Yeah.
I was like,
we don't
I
use
looked at
it.
my husband and said, no. I'm like,
so we got it. We used it, and we used it a lot in Mexico for sure, right?
okay.
Because all the water stains and stuff like that.
Why didn't you get their tool?
So here's my thing with that tool. Okay. Sit back, relax, enjoy the ride, because I've got a whole thing about this tool. It always looks good because they zoom in on the thing, right? What they don't show is the spray everywhere outside of it. When you put something on a drill and you put things on the bristles.
Is it like a mixer? Is it like a mixer?
A mixer without a bowl. Do you know how terrible that is for everything? You've got to wear an entire wetsuit when you're doing that thing.
I am so glad you said that, because you're right. I never.
And then
maybe you're not.
And then the drill. No, I'm doing it right. And then for the drill, right? Drills aren't supposed to be all that wet. It's not that, And so then the drill itself gets a little bit wet with everything and all that. Here's what I found it great for. I found it great for being able to do the post-construction clean. Because when I was doing post-construction clean, especially on the tile in the bathrooms, it was great, right? After all the what's it called? The things were sealed and stuff. The grout was sealed.
Yes.
then like we would go back in and use that for the primary one. And with this one, like I'm just wearing a bathing suit, not really wearing a bathing suit in the shower area and in the bathroom, right where all the tile is, to be able to do that. And so it really helped with that like construction clean. But then after that, we really just did it by hand. We didn't use that. But for big stuff, it was really worth it for big stuff.
That one, and then I've also seen the steamer. I really want to get the steamer, so
yeah.
Maybe I might tell my husband, listen.
We have a steamer.
You know, the cleaning one.
Yeah, we have a cleaning one.
What do you think? Is it really worth it?
Bubble gum and stuff, like things where like if you get it super hot, it'll do the thing, but then the fabric that it's on, if it gets too hot,
I
like,
honestly just want it for my kitchen.
Okay.
For my backsplash,
like grout and stuff, and
my backsplash
just
with the grease and after a while with the steam, because
the hot.
We have a vintage apartment and there is no venting, none what. My venting is my 2 windows.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, maybe I'll try it. So
which I find is so interesting. Anytime that I cook something, I turn on the fan.
We don't have
because we have the like benefit, but Pocket never turns it on. And I think I feel like Pocket probably never grew up with a fan to be able to capture all of that, and so they find it really annoying to have the fan on.
Okay.
Whereas like for me, I'm like, I don't like the house to smell like grease and oil, so I turn on the fan, right? But Pocket's like, oh, I don't care about that. So it's like two different things, trying to think about all that.
And it is something, because in we didn't have a fan either, actually. So for me, it was, oh, okay, well, actually it helps. It helps clear out so your house doesn't smell like food. Okay. All right, perfect. So there's times that you do things and I'm like, oh, we are so talking about it on the podcast.
Yeah, what is it? What's the thing? Tell me more. There's a lot of them. I know I'm
Remember
crazy.
how we talked about water heathens?
Water heathens, yes.
Yes. How you were like, oh my God, there are people that just get out of there, and you were so
right.
passionate.
Yeah. In the bathroom, just get out of the shower. No.
Do you know what Chris did today?
What did I do?
Instead of going like this on a stick of butter, they went diagonal.
Oh, right. So if you think about a general stick of butter, right? Some people like cut it just on the tip, so it's just the tab that comes off, and you have just the tab, and you put that on your bread, right? And then there's other people that make shapes out of the butter, right? And turn it into like a masterpiece. I am a person that turns it into a Mona Lisa, whereas other people are very plain and just take it off the tip and take a little square.
Is that the story we've built up in our mind?
This is very true. These are all things. I just want to make sure that people understand that it's artistic creation when you chop it through the middle, or you take a little bit off the top, right? And you create just a little dip on the top of the butter, and you take just that little dip off the top.
No, you go slice, slice, slice. It's like bread. Are you going to cut a loaf of bread diagonally?
I do it for muffins all the time. I take just the top of the muffin and eat the muffin. I'm like, what's her name? Elaine. Just the muffin tops. I'm a fan. I feel like everybody should be able to just do it because it's life. You got to have fun with it. Be eccentric.
Now, cupcakes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Totally get it, because that's the true way, right?
Right. Just the frosting,
just
really.
the top, and then you turn it over. No, you turn it over.
Yeah, you do that. Yeah, you take the top and you squish it.
Yes, because you're getting the perfect
sandwich.
amount.
Yeah,
the perfect amount of frosting.
Yeah.
Yes. But this is butter. Do you know how much anxiety I had watching you? I'm like, you ruined the shape of the butter.
I know.
How are we
and
supposed to
do you know
live?
what else I did? Left crumbs on that butter. You want to know why? Because then I know that that's the gluten butter. And we also have, because we have people that come over that are gluten free. So I can look at it and I know automatically gluten went through that. You are not touching that one. Okay. So I intentionally leave the crumbs there too.
Is that what we're doing, intentional?
Yeah.
Is that the word we're using?
It's true.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so going to remember. I am taking notes.
Oh, you know what?
Heathen.
We should call up your husband and have him send a picture of your butter from at home to us. That way we can like put it up on the screen somewhere for people to see.
Because it'll be perfect slices. And I may, there's no really proof of this, go by the lines of 1 tablespoon or half a tablespoon, the little lines.
I only do that when I'm baking, but we have fresh butter in the fridge for that. So
I do. Everything is fresh butter. People say, oh my God, do you know how bad it is? Ma'am, look at this country crock or whatever it's called. See all the products and ingredients in that. Thank you very much. Look at mine. Milk.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Milk.
Butter's delicious.
Yeah, just milk. You tell him, Rico. You tell him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Heathen. Butter
Mm-hmm.
heathen. Anyways, I got that off my chest. Thank you very much.
Okay, that's good. I think Pocket's in the background doing something. That's why that's why Rico's so very excited.
Yes.
Yes.
Like, oh, my other
Mhm.
person.
Right. Somebody's doing something out there. We're getting ready for barbecue season.
Yes. You
Pocket's
keep
out there
saying
getting
that
ready
if
for it.
the weather would just cooperate, because I feel like it's
It
one
will.
of those Washington days we're experiencing all 4 seasons.
Yes, we get all 4 seasons today, which is great. Yeah, I went to the grocery store today. There were a lot of sales on things. Are you a sales shopper when you do grocery shopping, or are you like a just show up, put it in the
I go
cart,
to the
and
clearance. No.
and just like show up at the
No.
thing? Like,
No, I'm one of those. It's not really, because my son will say, "Oh, I bought, toothpaste," and I actually grabbed the 2-pack because it was cheaper. And I said, "Was it though? Did you look at the price per unit?"
ounces.
Yes,
Yeah.
price per unit, the ounce. Yes, no. We are one of those. Let's go to the clearance section first, see what's there.
Yeah, I went to mushrooms. I did mushrooms today because we're gonna put them on the grill, right? So we're marinating
Yes.
them, then we're gonna skewer them, then we put them on the grill.
Marinating?
Mm-hmm.
I never done those mushrooms
So
like that.
good.
I've never had mushrooms on the grill.
And so the mushrooms, I was looking at them. They had packaged mushrooms that they said per 8 ounce were like $3.99 per 8 ounce.
Yes.
But then the loose ones were $4.99 per pound.
Yes.
Think about trying to do the math in your head while you're sitting there. You're like, how many ounces are in a pound again? I don't remember. 16, 8, 2. Geez, like, what is this thing, right? And so then I was like, wait, so I can get a pound of those for essentially like half the price of what that is. So why wouldn't I spend the $4.99 on a pound rather
Because
than
the convenience.
like, right? Because
The
it's already
convenience of the-
packaged. People
and
think
it's already
because it's
slow.
already packaged is a thing. And I was like, we
And
need
you
to
still
get back
have to
to
wash them.
right?
That's the part that blew my mind. I'm like, well, you know what? Then I
The
don't have to
packaged
worry
ones,
about
yeah.
washing them. And I read,
No, you still gotta wash it.
I'm like, so what's the point?
Right. What is the point of having this useless packaging? Right? Like just
Because
put it in a
I think
tray
people
and I
just
will
don't
like put it
think
in my
about it.
bag,
Yeah, people don't think about it. Or the people that buy the sliced onions.
Mm-hmm.
Or I can understand the sliced bell peppers, because sometimes like, but yes.
I think just like you get the vegetable, you get the fruit, you prep it
it's
at
a matter
home.
of convenience.
But like just do it. Just like
I know,
do the
but I
thing.
can see that though, the convenience. Like, I didn't realize, you're gonna be disappointed in me again.
Okay, I'm ready for it.
I didn't realize how much I needed my socks together. I invested in foldable laundry, paying somebody to wash the laundry
Oh yeah.
and fold it. It's like
Yeah.
it was a game. I didn't realize my life
Game
needed to
changer.
have
Game
my
changer.
socks together
Yeah.
and not look for them. I'm like, oh my gosh. So when I do feel overwhelmed, I'm like, and I can release something, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to pay for this convenience. I'm ready to pay $1.50 a pound
Yeah.
for this done. And $1.50 in clothes, a pound of clothes is very small.
Yeah.
Very, very small.
Yeah. I mean, so when we were in Mexico, one of the places that we were in, we didn't have a washer dryer, right? So
Yes.
I would just take it down to the lavanderia
Yes.
and they would just do it all, right?
Yes.
So it was great. I loved it. Yeah.
Yes.
And plus you get to know everybody that's there and chit chat.
And that's their livelihood.
yeah.
That's the
It's
thing that I do
community.
love about you. Make it a livelihood, right? You make somebody that polishes shoes. You, I don't know how you say it in Spanish, but the person that repairs your shoes,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's always something,
Yeah.
right? And it's their hobby, and that's what they're known for.
Yeah, there was somebody who was saying, "Oh, well, we're not going to have selection in the store or whatever." And I told him, I was like, "Do you need mangoes in December?" Right? I was like, when I think about us, like when we're in Mexico and stuff, right? Like if it's not in season, it's not on the shelf, right? Like, and I think in the U.S. we get so used to like, no, we should have access to that thing all the time. And I was like,
year round.
should we?
Yes.
Like, I don't know. This is where I'm like, I feel like we should maybe like think about that a little bit and be like, do we actually need access to all that stuff all the time? Or are we just looking for nutritional food that is going to like keep us going, right?
And nutritional food, honestly, this is nature telling us this is what you're supposed to eat during this time.
Yeah.
Like the wintertime, I'm a soup person. My husband is not.
Mm-hmm.
But I love soups. Get all the grains, the rice, oh my gosh,
a little
I
bit
love
of everything
all of that.
in it for us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I
And
love that.
Yeah. So I just like, I feel like I'm okay not having as much selection. I don't need all that selection. I just want things that are fresh and good and like, kind of doing it that way. I ran across this thing, like it was sent across to me. And this was just a couple days ago, where there are a bunch of foundations that are focusing on specifically farmed fresh food, and the farmed fresh food being able to help people in that production cycle, to specifically invest in just that for farm fresh food in like rural areas, right?
Yes.
And so, like, making sure that people have access to things that aren't packaged foods in rural areas. Because, like, in city cores, you can have access to pretty much everything because of the distribution systems that are
Hmm.
there. But this actually puts an outsized dollar amount on rural that do not have access typically to those same supply chains, even though a lot of the food might be actually even grown in those areas too. There's also a focus on smaller farmers, smaller farms and smaller farmers that operate the land, and what that looks like. And so I'm going to be probably engaged in more of that here in the very near future as well, just kind of looking at how to be able to create that like food supply chain for people that don't have access in like urban centers and stuff.
So I really love. Where was I? I think I came across my news feed. Washington, with now the farmers markets being a lot more open,
Mm-hmm.
right? They do this voucher for senior citizens
Yep.
that are living off of SNAP benefits.
Yeah.
They
SNAP and
get
EBT,
they
both.
get
Yeah.
they get a double.
Mm-hmm.
They double their. They go to the farmers market. It doubles what they. So let's just say you would normally get $10 worth of something, you get 20
Mm-hmm.
of fresh food. And I was
Yeah.
like, I think everybody should do that because this is
Yeah.
giving them access to fresh food that they normally wouldn't, and it's so much out there.
And you think about like the fresh food that you can actually prep yourself. So you can like clean it, you can cut it, and then you can actually put it in the freezer for a lot of it to be able to pull it out at later times.
Yes.
Or you can do it for canning or other types of
Yes.
things too.
Yes. I'm really excited for our event coming up May 31st. There's a vendor, and their name, usually I can tell when a vendor signs up what they sell by their name.
Yeah.
And their name was, I was like, excuse me, what do you sell? So they're an organic farmer,
Oh, okay.
and they're doing delivery boxes.
Cool.
So it was like considering the focus of our families with behavioral challenges and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing. Yes, definitely come on out. And she started this because she had to stop working to take care of her 81-year-old grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Yes, come
Yeah.
on out. Let me help promote you because what you're doing and your why.
Yeah. And you think about like, because if you think about homebound people and homebound caretakers of homebound people,
Yes.
right? If you can't leave somebody there and you're the sole caretaker, and you rarely have somebody come by to be able to even give you a mini break of some kind,
Yes.
right? That's a huge
Yes.
deal.
And just listening to her, she says, yes, I decided to do that because you know me. I have to know your why.
Mhm.
And just listening to her story of how she was able to, well, yeah, we live out on the farm. So my grandmother loves to feel like she's being productive. So I sit her down and we just do different things, and I can keep an eye on her and be productive at the same time. So yeah, so hopefully you'll be able to come by their table if you're going to come to the event.
Yeah, I think so. It's on my calendar, I
Yes,
think.
yeah.
Yes, I
But
believe
no,
I'm
so
gonna
I
be
love
there.
that. I love just supporting that because for me, I look at it, oh, well, do I really want to shop and buy tomatoes from here? Whereas somebody else is, hey, you're helping my light stay on.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you're helping me continue doing this amazing thing that feeds my family, puts a roof over my head.
Yeah, there are large scale agriculture farms and things that have like farmers markets that are at them or farm stands that they're doing. And it was so interesting because I went to one that's kind of like locally here, and leading
Mhm.
up to the season, they opened with international fruits and vegetables.
Ooh.
I went through and I was like Peru, Brazil, like there were a bunch of places that they were sourcing fruits and vegetables
Mhm.
from that weren't like specifically local here. And
Yeah,
then they
'cause
switch over to local.
Washington is a whole different beast.
Yeah, because like we don't have internal grow operations. We don't
Yes.
have inside like, you know,
Mhm.
those types of grow operations in large scale or large quantity here. So yeah, it was just really interesting that they were like leading up to it with that.
That is interesting. I didn't even, it always surprises me everything that you know and how I used to think that I was immersed in community and giving back. And, you always humble me with how much you give back to the community, and that is the one thing that I do love about you. It's you're always giving back because it comes from a place of wanting other people to do better and be better, and you're there to support that. I love that.
Mhm. So yeah, so I'm excited to be able to see what that looks like because I feel like some of the greatest opportunities that we have in food production, specifically in the Pacific
Yes.
Northwest, is being able to survive over the winter while still having farming and grow
All the
operations.
Washington winter.
Yeah, yeah.
I know. I
But
laugh because it's not the winter of
it's not.
everybody else's.
So having those and I think about some industries, right? Like I won't say which ones because we're not allowed to on this one, but like there are some industries that can do 24/7 grow operations, right? And like let's do that in mass agriculture in different ways with
Yeah.
like vertical farming and hydroculture, like all these
Yes.
things that are possible inside of that. And I think that so I'm really excited to do a lot more with that and with a bunch of like the farm collectives and
Yes.
stuff.
I'm looking forward to that this year, looking at all the people. Because when we went after grants, somebody was saying, "Oh, this is what we do," and I said, "Oh my God, I've never heard about it." So I'm interested now.
Yeah. And there's also some places where, so I've seen some like pre-lists of people that are in like final for some like funding in different types of ways and all of that, right? Because I
Mhm.
participate in the funding of and also like research into organizations on are they actually telling the truth based on what their application is and all
Yes.
of that? Like, is it congruent, right?
Yes.
Is it congruent with at least the trajectory of their organization and not completely awry or whatever? And so I thought it was really interesting. There were some organizations that were on there. And so this is where like we want to make sure that we're funding the right places.
Or it's going to be used for what it's actually helping them. And
Yeah.
I can understand, okay, this is our mission. Let's get the things that are actually going to help our mission.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so those types of things. And there are some places where I'm intentionally blocking funds from going to different places because I'm like, what you said on your application is not what I heard when I did the walkthrough with your organization or when I looked at your financials based on what we did on the walkthrough and what was on your application.
Or
Because if I'm seeing like when you think about banking and finance, right? When you think about accountants, when you think about all that stuff, they're the people that really see where all the stuff is and like, did you actually spend that money on that thing or were you spending it on something else and like saying it was something else, So those types of things. So there are some intentional
are you
blocking.
really doing what you said you're doing?
Yeah.
Yes. Are you really helping that? But hey, why are you getting double paid what everyone else is?
Mm-hmm.
So I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you.
But anyway, intentional spending. I think it's going to be great. And I think it's going to be great for farmers collectives, especially like in the Pacific Northwest right now and what that looks like. So I'm really excited
Me
to
too.
have some of that stuff coming down the line here too. So
Okay.
anyway, we're north of 20 minutes. So that's our time. I've got to go back to the
The elbow grease, the
elbow grease
pre-setting,
in the bathroom for the tub so that,
the pre-soaking.
I mean, it's a really big soaking tub. I've got to make sure that it's well taken care of, because if I'm going to get in there and I'm going to sit in it, like I've got to know like everything's clean.
We know.
Right?
I'm surprised you haven't the thing with the drain. There's a whole thing.
Yeah,
because,
taking Mm-hmm. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, I'll
That sounds
tell you.
great. Okay.
You know what? We're gonna give Chris the nightmare of a couple of YouTube videos of drains and the hot tubs and all this other stuff. Because think about your bathtub. Yes.
That
yes.
sounds great. Okay. So we're turning on the music. Thanks for joining us today. This has been the Chris and Veronica Show. My name is Chris. This is.
Hey, it's Veronica.
Thanks for joining us. We hope you've had fun with us. You can find us at chrisandveronica.com, online on all the socials, on the YouTubes, on the Spotify's, on the Facebooks, on the Instagrams. We're a little bit everywhere. So, thanks for joining us. We hope you have an amazing day. Bye.